Governments around the world are printing more and more money, just like it's going out of fashion. In the US, in the UK, in China, in Europe. Europe have finally, they've been resisting for a while, but yesterday they finally agreed that they too are going to jump on this stimulus bandwagon to try to spend our way out of all our problems. But what are the consequences of printing all this money? One of them surely has to be the possibility of hyperinflation. This means that the money that you have becomes valueless, virtually worthless. So what can you do to prepare yourself in the eventuality that we do have hyperinflation on our hands around the world? Well, the first thing you need to be looking at is your expenditure, your outgoings. Try to reduce these as much as you possibly can. Your housing costs, your food costs. Try not to eat out. Reduce your transportation costs if you can. Maybe find some alternative type of transport if possible, a motorbike, a moped, a bicycle. Obviously, depending where in the world you live, you may be more car dependent and you may really need a car. So not always so easy, but these are just recommendations to look at. The other thing to do during hyperinflation is to think about skills that you can use that will be useful in areas that are likely to be growth industries. Certainly anything to do with farming, gardening, food, health services, carpentry, anything to do with being handy, mechanical. All these areas are going to be industries that you are going to be skills that you will be able to trade with people. Because worst case scenario, the dollar or your currency just goes down and there's chaos for a while. After a while, people will work out ways in which they can barter with one another to trade goods and services. And the more prepared you can be with what goods and services you have, the better it will be in the event that hyperinflation takes hold. And when something like this does take hold, it happens quickly. It happens so quickly that people who have not taken the time to be prepared are in a terrible state. Because once a crisis hits, you can't think so quickly. Your thinking skills are not as clear. They're not as sharp. So best to start preparing and thinking now. What else can you do? Well, you can start storing up canned goods, dried foods, dehydrated foods. Remember, food prices will rocket. So at least if you've got maybe a 6-month store of food and some bottled water, you will at least have some food to live on while the chaos is going on. And what gives you some time and some breathing space to be able to survive, you and your families. So the other thing you can do if you do have some assets, put them into hard commodities. Buy some gold coins, some silver coins. I'll talk about gold and silver on different videos in more detail for you and simplify that for you. But just think about getting your physical money out of fiat money, which is just the notes that we have in circulation, which could become valueless. It makes sense after all. If governments are printing more and more money, it must mean that with more money supply, the actual value of the money is reduced. So those are just a few tips to get you started about being prepared. And it's about being mentally prepared too. Developing resilience, not pretending nothing's happening or thinking the governments are going to sort it out. It's about being responsible yourself for your destiny and your life. And these are just a few simple things that you can do that will help protect you and your family in the event that this crisis really worsens. Thank you for listening. I'll be back with more, and I hope this helps. Bye for now.